All right, let's talk about number 46 in the homework. So given a polynomial in factored form, I'm going to walk you guys through how to answer all the pieces and parts. All right, so the first question they want is the end behavior. So do both ends go up? Do both ends go down? Or do we have behavior that is more indicative of a odd degree polynomial? And so what we need to do is look at what the power would be on our leading term. Okay, so I see that this first factor is going to give me an x squared. This factor, x plus 4, gives me an x. And this factor, x minus 2, gives me an x. All right, when we multiply, we add exponents, so this gives me an x to the fourth as my leading term. There's no sign in front of any of those leading x's. There's no number out in front, and so it's positive and even, which tells me both ends are pointing up. All right, the next few questions ask us about the x-intercepts. And the first one says, well, what are the x-intercepts? So when we're given factored form, this actually is pretty easy. All we need to do is take our factors and set them equal to 0 and solve for x. And by doing so, we get that the x-intercepts are 4, -4, and 2. All right, and then the next three questions ask us, well, what's the behavior at these x-intercepts? And so what they're asking really is about multiplicity. So what is the multiplicity of each of our zeros or solutions here? So we notice that for x minus 4, the factor is actually squared. So for x equals 4, we have even multiplicity. Whereas for x plus 4 and x minus 2, we just have a 1 power around the factor. And so for -4 and 2, the multiplicity is 1. And going back to the notes, we see what does the multiplicity do compared when it's 1 compared to even. And for even, we sit on, and actually let me take that back, we sit on 4. Okay, it's kind of a U, and it can either be a smile or a frown on the x-axis at 4. And for single multiplicity, we're just simply going to cross. All right, and so our first question, what does the graph do at x equals 4? And our choices are, does it cross the x-axis or does it touch the x-axis and turn around? And the answer is actually it touches the x-axis and turns around. Whereas for what does the graph do at x equals -4 and x equals 2, and your answer would be that it crosses the x-axis. All right, moving right along. Now they ask us to find the y-intercept. All right, so to find the y-intercept means x is 0. All right, so wherever we cross the y-axis, by definition, x is 0. And so that's exactly how we are going to solve this. We are going to plug in 0 for x. And what we end up with is -4 squared times 4 times -2, which gives us 16 times 4 times -2, which gives us -128. The last question asks us to pick out the graph that is our function. And what we're going to do is we're going to take our x-intercepts. Okay, so we've got an x-intercepts of 4, -4, and 2. All right, we're going to cross at -4 and 2. We're going to sit, on 4. All right, both ends point up. and our y-intercept is negative 128. So in looking at our four choices, we're going to look first for the one with the end behavior of both pointing up. That does in fact exclude one of the choices. Then we're going to look for the one that has y-intercepts of 4, negative 4, and 2. And of these three x-intercepts, we're looking for the one that crosses at negative 4 and 2 and sits on the x-axis at 4. And using that information, we're able to narrow it down to the correct answer.